Hello, and welcome to our next guest speaker for this series in the Real Divorce Talks. I am so excited to introduce Anais Salas. She is an amazing woman. She just finished talking at the United Nations Council on Women, and I cannot believe that I know this person. I've never met anybody that has spoken at the UN, let alone have her come and speak on my event. So, really excited to have her. Anais works with high achieving, successful women and men, acquiring and refining attuned listening skills. Hire Anais to support their recognition that genius isn't bound by age, race, gender, education degree, or occupation. As an international consultant to innovative entrepreneurs managing dynamic challenges to thrive in a topsy-turvy world, clients hire her to help define and implement strong energy boundaries required to sustain healthy personal and professional lives. In doing so, they find they can do more, feel better, and enjoy a much greater level of peace of mind. Anais, and welcome. I am going to pop off the screen. Anais, I'm going to let you take it away. And if there is anything, any questions you have, feel free to enter them in the chat and we'll ask them at the end. Or if you want to just hold on, we will have everybody, we'll stop the recording and then we'll have an opportunity for you to ask questions directly. So
I'm going for the share, Marty. Let's see if I can figure it out. It's been such an intense day. I actually had to take a nap. Which I rarely do. But as you know, there's a lot going on right now for everybody. And there's part of it that's amazing. And there's part of it that I found in the last half of last year and the beginning of this year, really going deep into feelings of uncomfortable feelings, a little bit of despair, a little bit of terror, all kinds of things, which for me are part of the landscape of being human. We've all had an introduction to those kinds of energies, and they run through us. And they're not always actually part of who we are, but they run through us like someone has turned a hose on us and is spraying that stuff in our environment. So I have my little presentation here and I'm going to go for it because I want to make sure we stay within our time. But I do apologize. I got to share this. I got to share this before I do the presentation. I just don't know how it happened that I got invited to speak on this commission. And it was an amazing experience. Wonderful other people, including a man who was there to support where we are with the status of women. And then first, I got to do the general talk, which is part of what I'm going to share today. And then from that, I got to come back and be on the panel. And as I was sitting there looking at all these beautiful faces on this panel, everybody had one of these blue things. Right? So Zoom screens. I remembered being about 8 or 9 years old when one of my fantasies was that when I grew up, I would work at the UN and I would become a translator. And so I had a little moment of flashing into that remembrance. And I think that's such a huge part of how we become who we become. So I'm going to move us over here so people can see the slides. And here we go. So this is me. I'm founder and CEO of Living Lessons Library, which is a 508(1)(a) private membership association, because that serves best for the clients that I work with. So one of the things I love doing, and I've done this for a long time now, is working with clients at all kinds of professional levels and environments of how to transform that nagging little seed kernel of self-doubt that most of us struggle with now and then. We have to kind of work on that to flow into our heartful birthright bliss and brilliant resilience. And I call this practice my 9EQ method. Absolutely includes gratitude. That's very important. I began gratitude journaling, I think, in 2009. And I did a line of greeting cards. And one of my phrases was develop an attitude of gratitude. And it was note cards that I just gave to friends. So birthright bliss, what is that? I'm going to go into a little realm here where I would suggest that nobody who's on this planet right now and alive, you have to know you were born through birthright bliss. One or more of your parents, hopefully it was both of them, and it was a really good experience for them both. But that's how you got here. You got here through bliss. I'm going to just leave it there. We're all grown-ups. And then when you really take some time to do your breath work, your gratitude work, so important to rest and allow time for integration with your reflection. That's when you can learn to touch into your energy field in a very different way and become an active, I call someone who either turns the kaleidoscope with your own awareness, you become active in that process. And that's when you learn how to shift those moments of self-doubt into what I call your shine, your brilliant resilience. And that's an energy exchange that as you're breathing in and out and giving yourself that time and attention, you can feel your body responding. You can feel that you're going to relax a little bit. You feel, oh, now I can go for that walk, or now I can sit down and listen to that music, because your body is responding to the cues that you're giving it from deep, deep inside your energy field. And this becomes your opportunity to explore your essence of fulfillment. So this is what I call precision energy medicine. And if you've been really sick and you've had to engage your own choices to decide that getting better was something that you would actively engage, that's you practicing precision energy medicine. That's you unifying the parts of yourself to move you forward from whatever your challenge is and find your unique ways through it. And I call that quantum connection. And when we have precision energy medicine and quantum connection, your body will respond as best it can with the innovation of what adjustments it needs to make with you to bring you through what could be a medical crisis, it could be an emotional crisis, it could be a spiritual crisis. All right. Now, blah, 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 30 years, 13 countries, healing, coaching, and teaching. Okay, that's enough of that. So a little bit of my story, Two Dog Night. I'm going to share one story. I was alone on a Greek island. I had been meditating with a group of people. Fabulous full moon night, summer night in July. It was really, really hot, like 98 degrees at night. And this group of us had meditated under what was purported to be 1,000-year-old oak tree. And I was entranced, and everybody else left and they walked back to the retreat center where we were all staying. And I didn't want to leave. Now, I reached that point where I felt full. And I thought, okay, I'm ready to go back now. And so I returned. The way back was pretty clear. But when I got to the first pasture gate, it was open. And I walked through. And I remembered that I'd heard dogs barking on our way through to the meditation spot. But I don't really pay attention to it. But now as I'm walking through the field, I'm getting messages now, please. I don't know why. They always know when I'm somewhere else. Like, here we go, right? This is messages from my beloved, my dearly departed beloved's son. Well, okay. Anyway, he knows. They know. So I'm walking through this field, and all of a sudden, two dogs come lunging at me through the sheep pasture. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm totally alone. I'm quarter a mile from anything. There's no way to call for help. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I asked, what's the most important question in the English language? What if I can figure out how to get out of here on my own? So I checked, and I kind of inched over to the other gate, and the two dogs were really lunging at me. And the second gate that I needed to get out of was, not only was it closed, it was padlocked. And I thought, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And I just kind of stood there for a minute, and I thought, well, what if? And I looked around, and I saw on the cyclone fencing, it was 6-foot high cyclone fencing, and it was topped with about 18 inches of coiled barbed wire. And I thought, well, let me look around. There was a block of concrete that one of the fence posts was anchored in, and it was about 10 inches off the ground. Now, this time I weighed over 200 pounds. And I wasn't in great shape. Trust me on this. And so I thought, well, what if I put my foot on this block and then I put my hand on the capstone of the fence post? And what if I just sort of leap over and just leap over? And that's exactly what I did. I put my foot, I grabbed the fence post. I had inched myself up backwards so the dogs would, the final moment they would get me, I would be leaping over this mess. And I just felt my awareness, like this is what needs to happen. And I landed, cleared it, absolutely cleared it. Landed on the ground, didn't fall, landed squarely on my 2 feet. And then I felt, you got to know how empowered I felt after doing that, weighing 200 pounds. And then I thought, well, I'm going to tuck my hands into my little jacket, bomber jacket that I have. I'm just going to start walking back to the village. And I just started walking. I have never felt so empowered in my entire life. And the dogs began chasing me. And I didn't care. They were nipping at my boots. They were nipping at my legs. I just walked. And that's one of the stories that I tell in this context of know when to stand, know when to stay, and know when to walk away, or in my case, leap out of this situation. So the what if question is really the most powerful question in the English language when you have preceded it with what is really going on here. Those are your 2 best questions, will get you out of almost any situation. So that's what I do. What we go into what is really going on, because most people aren't asking that question. They're asking why. Why is not your friend? Okay, let me just say that. Why is not your friend? Because why doesn't do anything to reveal a pattern or to disrupt an energy dynamic that you may be caught in the moment where you need to get out of it and you need to figure out how. You want to bring forward your heart, your soul, your spirit, your energy to answer the question, what if? And sometimes we have hidden dynamics because we all have grown up in families with histories and ancestral drama and wounding. It's one of the things we talked about in the UN Commission. Well, what do you do with that information? How do you deal with it and come out of self-sabotage and self-sacrifice if you can't ask the right questions? I mean, these are some of the patterns of being in a childhood where things are a little bit traumatic, maybe a little narcissistic. The yank back, the shutdown, the twin golden child, the family that doesn't know what a boundary is, or the distinct feeling of being owned, like you're never going to have your own life. Somebody in your family owns you. Maybe your entire family owns you from generations. They all own each other. Those are the kinds of things where Dad went to Yale, you've got to go to Yale. There's a tradition there that can be very stifling for some people. So what I love to do in my work is get people out of the sacrificial, overgiving belief system, called the SOBs for short. And that functions in a no energy field, which means you're not as aware about what's going on in your life as you could be. And the result is drama and trauma. And over time, this can result in a heartbreaking, slow, low, chronic burn, overwhelm, chaos, stress, inner resistance, and you don't really have an ally. And you have to do such deep inner work to pull that out of yourself. So it's wonderful to have allies in this work. And I think Jessica's aware of that. This is work that she does, and it's work that she obviously had to do in her own life. So I had the jealous mom thing. And if you're not sure about this, I'll give you how to contact me at the end, and I'll send you a checklist, and you'll then be very sure. And so that's a way. Yes, Jessica, you might like this for your people. There's a way to shift yourself out of the energy dynamics of self-sacrifice. Nobody even asks you to make a self-sacrifice. You're trained to just offer it up. You just offer it, and you don't even know that you're doing it. Or you're trained to self-sabotage, and you don't even know that you're doing it. And Marty, you know about this because you work with people who are getting divorced. And sometimes both of these dynamics are going on, and they just don't have a clue. All right. So I like to talk about the no field, which means you're not in a position to be so aware that you are surrounded by energy fields and dynamics. And because you can't see them, you think they're not there. You think, I mean, I talk to people all the time about the remote control. Like, do you know how your remote control works? I mean, do you really know? No. You just know that if you hold it and push the button, you get the channel that you want, right? You can't see that, but it works, correct? The no field works exactly the same way, only it's not your remote control that you're holding. And you have no idea whose remote control you're holding or what you're going to see. So tuck that away because that's important. So when you don't know this, you can't be clear or having choices or boundaries about the impact this has on your life, your money, your time, your health, your relationships, and how you love and how much love you're able to receive. So see that little circle in the middle there and this black cube reality. Do you ever notice how every piece of electronic equipment is black? Think about that. I'm not going to go in there in more depth, but anybody can connect that dot. Bliss, when you're needing to break out of the sobs, no field, you've got to find your way into the no yes field at least. That's your little circle of bliss that you need to feel in some part of you. Maybe it's when you're dancing. Maybe it's when you're singing. Maybe when your house is tidy. Maybe when you're making art. Maybe when you're playing with your children. Maybe when you're playing pinochle with your girlfriends and you're having some Mai Tais. Whatever that is for you, do it. And trust, ask while you're having a good time, what if? What if you could do the very next thing that would make you just so blinking happy you would be laughing out loud in joy? So you have your unique list. I have my list: Stranger Danger, The Fun House, A Me Too Mom, A Long Gone Dad. And this is my wheel of questions. What if? Is it now? Is it time? And what happens next? These are questions that free your energy, that let your energy field know that you want to discover something. Great. But if you don't ask, well, what happens when you don't ask? And then what happens when you don't listen with the answers that are coming? Because most of us, been trained exactly the opposite. We've been trained how not to listen to ourselves, right? Somebody else has the meaning. Somebody else has the message. Somebody else has the solution, right? We got it. This is a habit we all need to break. So there we go. What if? I love this question. I'm asking it all the time because where does it lead you? You see this slide right here? This is how it feels in your body, in your day, in your work, in your whatever, in your cooking dinner, when you connect with feel, flow, focus, and form. And this is an ongoing creative process. We're doing it all the time, but most of us are disconnected from it and how it works. That's an energy process. So if you don't take anything else away from what else I'm going to talk to you about tonight, just know that everything is energy. We all know from we're starting to learn. Everything is energy. First, last, foremost, always. So because it's energy, it's flexible. Because it's energy, you can learn how to interact with it the way that you choose to write your gratitude with a pen. I promise you, you can learn how to move energy with your fingers. Just the same way. It's just a little couple steps of more being connected within. You can de-story your intergenerational trauma. You can rewrite your family's origin script that drove you nuts. You can generate relationships with time that would blow your mind. You can literally create more time and breathing space, but you need to do this consciously. And once you learn how to do this, you can ask, what if I generate a different outcome? What if, what if, what if? Then you become the kaleidoscope in your own life. You know those I love kaleidoscopes. You look inside and you're focused and there's all those beautiful colored chits and you turn the wheel and the design just, this is what we had before we had LSD. We had kaleidoscopes. Okay. So you're turning the kaleidoscope and it's like, oh my gosh, that's fabulous. And you turn it again, and inside are the mirrors. Inside of us, there are mirrors, and we're turning our bits of consciousness. And we're turning and we're turning and we're turning. And this is how you become the eye that is looking at through the lens of the kaleidoscope. You're the color chits inside the kaleidoscope, and you're the hand that's turning the kaleidoscope. This is all connected to you and your connections to within. So if you're ready, this is how I describe it, to quit being a waitress or a bartender at your local family-owned and operated Taker Cafe. Been there, done that. What if is your moment to make the decision? What happens when you don't put it off? Well, who wouldn't want birthright bliss? You come into your unique sacred superpowers and the flows. And birthright bliss, you feel the energy opening into creative energetic circuits that complete. They don't get chopped in half. They don't get stalled. They don't get stopped or broken. This is your path to promise and life purpose. Transmutes doubt, fear of the known and the unknown alike. Sometimes the known is scary. We're going through that right now. And we're seeing lots of things that were known, and we're like, oh, I'm feeling really scared. And then you can take those bits of really what has become dead light. This is no longer living light. It's dead light mind chatter. And gratitude is a great way to blow that stuff right out of your system so that you can get back to here, so we can access precision energy together. And I do this with my clients. I share that. Then we go into the regeneration process. We share that. Now, why is this important now? You're going to have your own answer to this why question, which sometimes matter. But it could be for some of us who are here, maybe you're not anywhere close to your earning potential and you want to ask the question, what if I can change that? Or maybe you're not making the impact as a leader or as a visionary that you would like to have. And you can ask, what if I can do more about that? You're longing for authentic and powerful impact as you grow your business, gain more ideal clients, and enjoy a quality of abundance in your life that just is this sort of steady hum of, I know how to be happy, and I know how to feel it and be grateful for it. And I also know how to do the deeper work and to take care of myself when that's important. So here's another takeaway. As Suzanne Evans would say, it's a writer downer. The mind can't feel energy. God bless you, Jessica. Self-doubt is you choosing to break your own superpower creation circuits. That's all that is. And your mind will be the lever that you push to make this happen. So you've got to remember that your mind can't feel energy, but your heart can, and your heart knows. So this is my Mind EQ method. If it's for you, I suggested if you ever had a two-dog night experience, you would believe the stories I've had, honestly. I swear one day I have to write a book about these adventures. And you have no way or no one to reach out to for help. This is a terrifying space to be in. So struggling to connect, consistent momentum, profit doing what you love, eager to attract more clients, co-create greater results. You'd love to sell more products or services, live or for whatever it is, This is your birthright bliss to find it and live it and be it. Whatever it is, you know what it is. Okay. So, I've had wonderful client results. I had one woman who, she finally recognized that she'd been in a really painful family dynamic and she had no idea how to break out of it. And we had an hour session together and it was toast. So how will you change your life monetarily and in every other way as soon as you decide to stop being a card-carrying member of Origin Story Sobs? And how much would that be worth to you? Really, how much would that be worth to you? So I have a system. It's based around essential questions and using universal energy in a very precise way. And, I'm going to be doing more of this work. I'm coming to Toronto. I know that's where you're from, Marty, but I'm going to Canada again. I won't see you because you're in Texas, but maybe you'll meet me in Toronto. We could have dinner together. Now, I can't wait for you to come and work with me in person. I'm going to be offering my VIP day in my own summit, which begins tomorrow. And then I get all these juicy testimonials. So what is it? Give me 3 things, Anais. Give me 3 things. 1, self-awareness, self-reflection, and self-expression. Finger paint. Don't let anybody see you. Just go to the art store and get the stuff. You know what I did when I was getting divorced, Monty? When I knew I had to get divorced, I went to garage sales and I bought boxes and boxes of china. And then I put a big tarp and nailed it to the side of the garage. And when those moments came, when you know those moments, if you're in divorce, where you just have got to let it go, you got to let it go. So I would go out in the yard and I would throw things at the tarp and break all the china, wrap it up in the tarp, and then dump it in a trash can. Perfectly safe way to do a great energetic release when it gets to be that bad, and it can get that bad. So I think that's it for me. Unless there's something else here, we're done.
I have to remember, I get so excited, I keep forgetting to take myself off mute. Thank you so much for that. And I wanted to, you have some gifts for us, and I'm just cautious of the time here, but you are offering people a Fireproof Woman webinar on demand.
Yes,
And
you
then
can watch them anytime you like.
yes. Yeah. And so there's also a video that Anais has made that helps you if you want to uncouple, decouple, and start getting untriggered. So again, don't worry about, you don't need to worry about grabbing them right now. I'm going to send out a newsletter tomorrow that's going to have all those links in it. And I will also include the information about the upcoming summit that's starting tomorrow. So people will have all that information. Thank you so much for being here. I love your energy and I love your stories. You tell stories so well. It's so much fun. But thank you so much. And I really appreciate you being here today.
Thank you, Marty. It's a joy, and I will see you more this weekend. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.